The freebie culture doesn't get more blatant than this. A cash-strapped airline distributing free unlimited air tickets to former and present MDs and CMDs along with their families. Air India's junket Raj has crossed all limits of nepotism. Will the Modi government now walk the talk and end this freebie bonanza?
इंडस्ट्री में हर एक एयरलाइन अपने एम्प्लॉइज को टिकट देती है। ये कोई नई बात एयर इंडिया नहीं कर रही है। अगर कोई पार्टी सब एयरलाइन घाटे में सबने बंद कर दिया क्या? तो आप क्या इश्यू है? मुझे समझ नहीं आया।
नेशनल कैरियर है सर।
तो नेशनल क्या? अरे और भी तो अरे जितने अगर आपके एम्प्लॉय हैं, अगर कंपनी घाटा बन रही तो आप उनको सब सुविधा खत्म कर दोगे क्या? फिर तो कोई एम्प्लॉय नहीं बचेगा आपके पास।
People tend to forget that Air India is a board-managed company. Government may be the 100% equity owner of Air India, but eventually there is a board which looks after the day-to-day administration and decision-making of Air India. So therefore, to lay the blame on the UPA's door on the very first day is probably a complete misread and a misunderstanding of the corporate structure of Air India and the manner in which a public sector organization functions.
In fact, Times Now has a 1996 government directive to Air India which shows clearly that the Ministry of Civil Aviation had asked the airline to not allow post-retirement passages to part-time directors and managing directors. The document shows that rules have been broken since 1996 and this order was not followed by the airline. Madhav, in fact, is breaking that story. Madhav, why did no one in the board point out that these rules were being blatantly flouted? Is it because it just suited everyone? It's a case of you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and everyone stands to gain.
Well, yes, clearly, if I can read from this order, what it specifically says is that passages may be given by the management only during the tenure of the CMD and provided that if such part-time chairman or managing director come from official cadre, which is government service, they will not be eligible for any passages even during their tenure in the airline. Now, this clearly means that if IAS officers, as is currently the norm, are the chairman and managing directors of the airline, then they will not be entitled to any kind of free passage even during their tenure, leave alone for their spouse or the extended family. So clearly it was in violation of this that CMD as well as JMD had actually gone ahead and come under the category of those who are not just due for their family and others to get benefits during their tenure, but even post-retirement, and a benefit that would continue even after their death that was transferable to their spouse and children. So clearly, of course, this entire episode, particularly the April 11th order, is in violation of existing orders of the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and that's why, in fact, this entire matter is controversial. In fact, sources have also told us that in light of this particular order, Air India had already approached the government on October of 2013 and had asked government to give clearance as far as the CMD and JMD are concerned, both of whom are officers of the government cadre. So that, in fact, being the case in black and white, specifically being mentioned. Earlier, of course, we were talking about how the arbitrary nature in which, in fact, such doles were being given out to the top management of Air India. But this clearly shows that it's not just an arbitrary decision, it also clearly disobeys earlier directions that have been given by the Ministry of Civil Aviation.
Madhav, just stay on with us because there's more news breaking right now. Air India, in fact, in a statement, has justified freebies, has issued a statement claiming that such passages are given only against vacant seats available and never at the cost of a revenue passenger. Ashish joins us for more on this. It seems to be a lame excuse at best because now we've got an order which clearly shows that they are not entitled to these benefits in the first place, Ashish, whether or not that seat is vacant.
Well, that's a bizarre statement coming from the national carrier Air India. They realize that they have the documents, and despite that, they are issuing a statement. I would like to draw viewers' attention to the Air India circular, which we have been displaying on our screen for the last 24 hours. The circular dates 11th April 2014, and the point number 4 of that circular says both past and present MD and CMDs and their family members are entitled for unlimited passages on definite basis. I repeat, on definite basis. This is exactly the circular issued by Air India, and now Air India coming out with this bizarre statement, which is exactly contradictory to the circular issued by the Air India personnel. So what the Air India is trying to do is they're trying to save their face, and looking at the way they are exposed, and the MDs and CMDs and their families are being given freebies. And we have constantly been running these campaign against the national carrier and misuse of the taxpayers' money. So looking at this expose, what they're trying to do is just to save their face. We have constantly been trying to get in touch with the MD, Air India CMD Rohit Nandan, but he has refused to speak to us. And now Air India Corporate Communication now coming with this bizarre statement.